5 years after the events of the first film, the moors are thriving. Aurora is queen, young, warm, beloved by every creature in the kingdom. The moors are green and alive and full of sound. But things are changing. And the first sign of it comes from Diaval. He is perched in the trees near the border, watching, when Philip drops to one knee in front of Aurora and produces a ring. She says yes before he finishes the sentence. Diaval shoots back to Maleficent immediately. He delivers the news with the careful pacing of a man who knows he is dropping a stone into still water and wants to be far enough back when the ripples start. Maleficent's reaction is exactly what you would expect. She flies straight to Aurora without delay. She is not pleased. She does not say congratulations. She voices her concerns in the direct and undecorated way she voices everything. Philip is a human, his family is unknown to her, and the idea of Aurora moving to a human kingdom is not a possibility she is prepared to accept. Aurora listens to all of this with the patient affection of a daughter who knows her mother very well. And then she says, "Come to dinner." Philip's parents have invited them both to the castle in Ulstead for an engagement dinner. Just one evening. All she is asking is for Maleficent to come and try. Maleficent looks at her for a long moment. And then, because she has never been able to deny Aurora anything, she agrees. Aurora gently suggests a veil to cover Maleficent's horns. Maleficent accepts this in the spirit it is intended and says nothing. What none of them know, as they make their way toward Ulstead, is that the evening ahead has already been designed to go wrong. In Ulstead, King John and Queen Ingrith wait for their guests. King John is warm and genuine, a man who truly believes that this marriage can unite two kingdoms and end a generation of division. He is excited about it. His queen, however, is something else entirely. Ingrith is composed and immaculate. Below the castle, in a lower chamber that no one speaks about publicly, Ingrith has been building something. Weapons forged from iron, the one material that burns fairy skin. A servant of hers named Lickspittle, a de-winged pixie who now serves the human court, is in the process of creating a deadly red powder from the sacred flowers of the moors, tomb bloom flowers, blossoms imbued with the essence of the moors deceased. In large enough quantities, this powder can kill every fairy in a room. And Ingrith intends to use it. She also has something else. A familiar object, locked away and kept close, the cursed spindle from the first film. The one that sent Aurora to sleep. Somehow it has found its way into her possession. Maleficent arrives at the castle with Aurora and Diaval. The dinner is set beautifully, every detail perfect and deliberate. Including the cutlery. Iron cutlery, placed with precision at every setting. Ingrith knows exactly what iron does to fairies. This is not an accident. The evening begins with pleasantries that have the texture of a blade wrapped in silk. John is genuinely warm, he speaks with enthusiasm about the union of their kingdoms and the future he imagines for Philip and Aurora. Maleficent is uncomfortable but holding herself together. Aurora watches both of them with barely concealed anxiety. And then Ingrith begins. She brings up the curse, casually, as though mentioning the weather. She recounts the story of Maleficent placing a sleeping curse on baby Aurora at her christening. She frames it as the story everyone in the human world knows, the story that defines who Maleficent is in their eyes. She alludes to the death of King Stefan, suggesting it was not an accident. She mentions 2 human fairy hunters who were last seen near the moors and never returned, letting the implication hang in the air without completing it. Every sentence is perfectly placed. Every word designed to unsettle. Maleficent keeps herself still through all of it, barely. Aurora watches her godmother's jaw tighten and prays for the evening to end. Then King John suddenly gasps. He clutches the table. His eyes go unfocused and he slumps forward, unconscious, collapsing from his chair. In the chaos and confusion of the moment, servants rushing forward, Philip calling for help, nobody sees what happened. In the commotion Ingrith turns to the room and makes her accusation without hesitation. She says Maleficent has cursed the king. Every face turns to Maleficent. Maleficent looks at Aurora and tells her she did not do this. Aurora believes her. Nobody else in the room does. When Aurora will not leave with her, Maleficent turns and flies. And as she clears the castle walls, Ingrith nods to her servant Gerda, and Gerda raises a weapon loaded with iron shot and fires. The iron bullet hits Maleficent mid-flight. She loses control. She plummets toward the ocean far below the cliffs, and the darkness takes her. Maleficent hits the water. She sinks. She is unconscious and bleeding and going down fast. And then something catches her. A pair of wings cutting through the dark water, a figure diving from above, moving with speed and certainty, pulling her out of the deep before she can drown. She is carried somewhere far from the castle and the cliffs. She wakes in a cave. But not just any cave. It is vast, enormous and glowing, filled with light that comes not from fire but from the creatures within it. And there are hundreds of them. Winged, horned, dark-feathered beings, like Maleficent, but different. Dozens of variations of the same fundamental thing. They move through the cavern with the ease of a community that has lived here a long time. These are the Dark Fey. Her kind. An entire race of creatures that Maleficent did not know existed, forced underground and into hiding by centuries of human persecution. They are the last of their kind. Nearly driven to extinction. And they have been here all this time, invisible to the world above. Two of them stand apart from the rest. The first is Conall, the one who pulled her from the ocean. He is older, measured, with the careful calm of someone who has seen enough violence to know that more of it will not solve anything. He is their leader, and he believes in the possibility of peace between the Dark Fey and the human world. Conall takes Maleficent through the cavern, showing her what the Dark Fey have built in hiding, their society, their culture, their survival underground. And then he shows her something else. Deep in the cave, encased in crystal, a figure. Ancient. Winged. Vast. A Dark Fey ancestor who channeled a power so immense and so uncontrollable that it crystallized her where she stood. She is the Phoenix. The original Dark Fey. And Maleficent, Conall tells her quietly, is her last descendant. The Phoenix power lives in her, dormant, waiting. He has seen signs of it in her magic. He warns her that this power is immense and dangerous and comes at a cost. He tells her not to use it unless there is no other choice. Maleficent sits with this for a long time. Meanwhile, back in Ulstead, the world continues without her. With Maleficent gone, shot down, no word of whether she survived, Aurora has no choice but to stay in Ulstead and wait. Ingrith moves quickly. She surrounds Aurora with the business of wedding preparation, fittings, etiquette, the full machinery of a royal court designed to keep a young woman occupied and contained. She presents it as care, as welcome. Aurora endures it with polite determination, but she misses the Moors. She misses Maleficent. The more time she spends inside the castle, the more wrong it feels. The wedding day arrives. The creatures of the Moors stream into Ulstead in their finest, invited guests, welcomed with apparent warmth, filing into the castle's great chapel for the ceremony. They do not know what is waiting for them inside. Ingrith's plan is precise. The chapel organ has been loaded with the red powder. When Gerda plays it, the powder will be released into the air of the sealed chapel, killing every fairy inside. Outside, the Dark Fey assault on Ulstead begins. Bora leads the attack, an aerial assault on the castle walls, the Dark Fey swooping down against soldiers armed with iron. It is brutal on both sides. Soldiers fall. Dark Fey fall. And for every one that falls, more iron comes up to meet them. Inside the chapel, Gerda moves to the organ. The three small pixies, Knotgrass, Thistlewit and Flittle, realize what is about to happen. They try to stop it. But Gerda begins to play and the red powder starts to seep from the pipes into the sealed air of the chapel. The Moor folk begin to choke. There is nowhere to go, the doors are sealed from outside. Flittle makes a decision. She flies directly into the organ pipe and pushes herself into the mechanism, her entire being dissolving into a burst of flowers that clog the pipes completely, stopping the powder from releasing any further. She sacrifices herself to save everyone inside. Outside, Philip has reached his mother. He has heard enough and seen enough to understand what she has done. He confronts her. She looks at him with no remorse, she tells him plainly that the fairies are not their equals, that the Moors should belong to Ulstead, that she has been working toward this for years. Philip turns away from her. He defects, escaping on a rope from the tower, dropping down to the battlefield below. He finds Bora mid-combat and steps between him and General Percival before either can deliver a killing blow. He tells Bora he does not want this war. He refuses to have fairy blood on his hands. Bora looks at him. And something shifts, enough to pause. Maleficent has found Ingrith. She has Ingrith cornered. She is going to kill her. And then Aurora's voice cuts through everything. She has escaped from her room. She calls to Maleficent. She tells her she knows she is not evil, that she knows the truth. Maleficent looks down at her. And Ingrith, in the half-second that Maleficent is distracted, raises her crossbow and fires a powder-tipped arrow. It hits Maleficent. She dissolves. Slowly, in front of Aurora. Not blood. Just ash. Dark particles drifting in the air where she was standing. And she is gone. She kneels beside them. She does not move. She does not speak. She presses her hands into the ash and stays there, completely still, while the battle continues around her. And then she cries. The tears fall from her face and land in the ash. And the ash begins to glow. It starts small, a pulse of light deep within the gray. Then it spreads, faster and brighter, the ash lifting and swirling upward, reforming, reshaping, and from the center of it, wings first, then the horns, then the face, Maleficent rises. Not as she was. As something more. The Phoenix. Her ancestors' power fully awakened, burning through her from the inside out, vast and incandescent and completely itself. Ingrith backs away. For the first time in the entire film, her composure is completely gone. She is terrified. She throws Aurora from the tower and runs. Maleficent catches Aurora before she falls. And then she lets Ingrith go, because Bora and the Dark Fey are already there, blocking every exit, capturing the queen before she can escape. On the battlefield, Philip raises his voice. He calls to both sides. He tells the soldiers to stand down. He tells Bora the same. He stands between two armies and refuses to move until both of them listen. The battle is over. She walks to Philip. She looks at him for a long moment. She asks him, "Do you truly love her?" He tells her yes. Without hesitation. She gives her blessing. Finally. In the castle, King John opens his eyes. As for Ingrith, Maleficent looks at the woman who tried to exterminate her people, who framed her for crimes she did not commit. She raises her hand. And Ingrith becomes a goat. A small, indignant, bleeding goat, until, Maleficent says, she is ready to accept peace between their people. Bora looks at the goat with considerable satisfaction. Aurora and Philip are married. And when it is done, Maleficent goes home. She returns to the moors with the Dark Fey, bringing them out of hiding, out of the underground caverns, into the sky and the green and the open air they were driven away from. She teaches the young ones to fly. She watches them rise above the trees and the light catches their wings and the moors are louder and fuller than they have been in a very long time. She looks back toward Ulstead once. And then she looks forward. In the very last moment, she tells Dyaval she will return when there is a christening. He looks at her. She gives him the smallest possible smile. And she flies.